In the soft grey light before sunrise, the African plains lay quiet and still. A gentle mist hovered over the golden grass, turning each blade into a tiny silver thread. Acacia trees stood tall, their flat tops like umbrellas against the empty sky. In this peaceful moment, a lone lioness crept toward a small waterhole. Her tawny coat shimmered in the dim light. She moved with careful steps, her muscles rippling under her skin. She needed water, and she needed to stay alert. A few hundred yards away, her mate and their cubs slept in a protective circle. The male lion, with his thick dark mane, rested his head on his paws. He trusted her to drink and return safely. The cubs huddled close, dreaming of playful runs and warm sun. The lioness reached the water's edge and lowered her head. Her reflection stared back at her, eyes bright, whiskers drooping into the cool surface. She drank slowly, savoring each sip. For a moment, the world was nothing but the soft sounds of water lapping and the low hum of morning insects. Unseen beneath the water's surface, a large python lay coiled in the mud. It had been waiting there for days, hidden by reeds and mist. Hunger drove it to remain still, conserving energy until the right moment. When the lioness bent low, the python struck. With startling speed, the snake lashed out, its powerful jaws snapping onto the lioness's side. She let out a sudden roar that broke the morning hush like thunder. The python wrapped its heavy body around her midsection, tightening coil by coil. Pain and panic flooded her muscles. She fought back with all her strength, claws slashing, teeth snapping. But the snake's grip was iron strong. The lioness thrashed wildly. Each breath grew harder to take. Her vision blurred as the python squeezed tighter. The grass shook under their struggle, and droplets of water flew in all directions. The reeds around the waterhole bent under the weight of their fight. She roared again, a sound full of fear, pain, and defiance. The male lion heard her roar, even through the fog. His ears pricked up, and his muscles tensed. With a powerful surge, he rose to his feet and raced toward the waterhole. The cubs stirred, but did not wake. Their father's roar was a call he had used many times, sometimes in triumph, sometimes in challenge. Today, it carried urgency and terror. He bounded through the grass, each leap covering several feet. His mane floated around his face like a dark halo. He reached the edge of the clearing and saw the lioness pinned by the python. Without hesitation, he dropped into a crouch and let out a roaring challenge so fierce that the birds in nearby trees took flight. The python heard the male lion's roar and the thunder of his footsteps. It tightened its coils on the lioness and hissed a warning to the approaching rival. The male lion did not stop. He launched himself at the snake, jaws open. He sank his teeth into the python's thick, scaly body. The snake hissed again, its muscles rippling, but the lion held on. The animal's struggle was fierce and loud. The python tried to twist away, but the lion's grip was strong. The lion used all his weight, pulling and shaking. His claws raked across the snake's back. The lioness, sensing help had arrived, used her last reserves of energy to kick at the python and claw at its coils. Together, they made the snake loosen its hold. Finally, hurt and beaten, the python released the lioness. It slid backward into the shallow water, its body marked with blood and bruises from the lion's bites and claws. The mist turned red around the waterhole. The snake writhed, but eventually slithered away into the reeds, seeking safety from two furious lions. The lioness collapsed onto the damp ground. Her breathing was shallow and ragged. The male lion turned to her, his body still low, muscles trembling from the fight. He nudged her side gently with his snout, checking for movement. She opened her eyes slowly, her gaze soft and relieved. He licked her face, careful not to hurt her further. Together, they stood side by side. The male lion nuzzled her neck, and she leaned into him. Their bodies pressed close, sharing warmth and comfort. Farther away, hidden in tall grass, their cubs watched, wide-eyed. The cubs stayed still, sensing both danger and safety in their parents' presence. The mist began to lift, and the first rays of orange sunlight pierced the gray sky. The acacia trees glowed, and the grass turned gold. The waterhole reflected the brightening world above. The lions moved away from the edge, the male gently guiding the lioness back toward their resting place. By the time the pride gathered again, the sun had fully risen. The other lions licked and nudged the injured lioness, welcoming her back. The male lion stood guard, watching for any sign of the python's return. The lioness lay down, and he curled protectively around her and their cubs. In the hours that followed, the lioness rested and let her breathing slow. The pain in her side was intense, but it did not defeat her. The pride stayed close, offering companionship and care. The male lion lay with his head on her shoulder, his tail flicking in the warm morning light. In the wild, survival often depends on more than strength alone. It depends on bonds between mates, between family members, between members of a pride. The male lion answered the roar he heard because he loved the lioness. He risked his life to save hers. The lioness fought for every breath because she needed to stay by his side and protect their cubs. When the day grew hot, the pride rose and began to move toward a new resting spot under a cluster of shady trees. The lioness walked slowly, supported by the male. The cubs hesitated, then scampered to catch up. The python did not follow. It had learned that some fights are not worth winning. As they disappeared into the tall grass, the savannah fell quiet once more. The wind whispered through the acacia trees, and the world seemed to remember what had happened. In that morning light, the struggle and the rescue became part of the land's story, a story of danger met with courage, of loneliness ended by loyalty, and of love that roars louder than fear.